Welcome to Pensare Basketball Live. What a game from the Toronto Raptors. This was an absolute decimation, an abomination, a brilliant response to from a team that has been blown out in successive losses. There was a lot of conversations ahead of tonight's game. Two big ones. One, what would Immanuel Quickley look like? He hadn't played since early November. Obviously, a lot of us have believed for a very long time that he is the second best player on the Toronto Raptors. The Raptors have been without their second best player for a while. And he is very vital because not only because he provides elite spacing, not only because I believe I've said all offseason that I think he's going to be a fundamentally better player, but also because what's behind him just isn't that good. And I think tonight you saw a spectacular performance from Immanuel Quickley. I thought you saw a lot of the three-level scoring, the deep range stuff, some of the playmaking ability, floater range stuff. He's going to get better, guys. He's going to get a lot better. And he, at least for tonight, looks every bit as much worth. He looks every bit. What word am I looking for? He looks like he's worth $32 million tonight. He looked great. There was another conversation that was happening in Raptorland for most of the last 24 hours, which is Scottie Barnes a bum? Is Scottie Barnes not a very good player? And if you are expecting me to take the high road here, you better tune out because I'm not about to take the high road. Some of the stuff that was said about Scottie yesterday was embarrassing. I think this fan base sometimes really gets a little too carried away. And you know, it's one thing to say Scottie's struggling. I think we can all see that he struggled shooting the ball this season, that since coming back from his ankle injury, he has really looked compromised laterally, some of the burst, and he just doesn't have it. And that's difficult. And if you've never played a sport in your life, and if you're just some, Chumbawamba who just sits there and eats your Doritos on the couch, you don't understand why this guy isn't attacking downhill. When you don't understand is that it takes burst to do that. And he's really looked bad on that front. Last couple games, we've seen a lot more rebounding. We've seen a lot more effort defensively. And tonight we saw probably the best game, if not definitely 100% the best game since he's come back from the injury. And what do you know? It coincides with Immanuel Quickley's return because it helps. Scottie and Immanuel Quickley is not a great matchup last year, but in theory, it is the best matchup. And it is a great dynamic guard, pairing with a guy who can do a lot of stuff in the mid-range. Scottie flashed a lot of mid-range stuff. To those people saying he shouldn't shoot threes, well, he shot threes tonight and he made them, right? He didn't take as many as he has been taking in the past. The Raptors limited their turnovers tonight. The Raptors played a brilliant game. Really big salute to Ochai Agbaji. His defense on Cameron Johnson was inspiring. And I think this was just a great game. This was an absolutely great game. To those of you worried about the tank, don't you worry, man. Look at the schedule ahead. There's a lot of games to lose ahead. But if you're the Toronto Raptors right now, you needed this win. You had lost 11 straight. This is not the vibe you want. A lot of people in the media calling this calling this franchise trash, calling this coaching staff trash. Well, the last I checked, the coaching staff did not change overnight. The personnel certainly did. The personnel certainly did tonight. RJ Barrett was out tonight. That's worth noting. Bruce Brown was managing injuries, but this is about as healthy as the Raptors have been. And I was curious to see what the defense would look like again with RJ Barrett out. I have made a lot of stink about RJ Barrett's defense this year, and I think that he's been really bad. And I hope that he can see that the defense has looked a lot better without him. Both nights against Boston last night, getting smoked, the defense looked better. Tonight, the defense looked better. And yeah, I think this was just a great morale boost. And this right here, we'll get to this. I mean, Jack Armstrong is absolutely clueless. Immanuel Quickley is not a more natural playmaker than Scottie Barnes at all. He is not. He misses passes all the time. Tonight, however, he operated well in the pick and roll with Yak. Did a lot of driving kick stuff, a lot of secondary stuff, a lot of second side action. I thought Immanuel Quickley was phenomenal tonight. There will be no Immanuel Quickley slander on the timeline tonight, and nor should there be. He was fantastic. Fantastic. All right. Okay, let's take a look at what happened. We'll get to the film. Also, some of you have already mentioned, yes, my dog did pass away last night. We'll do, a 1-minute brief overview of what happened and how it happened. But yes, it was a very, very tough time for us. So thank you to everyone who's reached out about that. That has been very meaningful. So thank you so much for that. Okay, let's get on with this. The Raptors shot 59% from field and 50% from three. When is the last time you've seen that? I mean, I'm being honest. I'm being sincere. When is the last time you have actually seen the Toronto Raptors do that? That's crazy. That's absolutely nuts. Okay. Uh, the Raptors limit their turnovers. They had very few turnovers after that first quarter where they turned the ball over a lot. The first quarter, just kind of getting used to Immanuel Quickley a little bit. I think there was a little bit of turnovers from that front, but overall, the team stats speak glowingly about how well the Raptors played. They didn't get to the line very much. The Brooklyn Nets did get to the line a lot. There was a lot of Davion Mitchell in there, but the Raptors, brilliant. 88 field goals, 36 assists. That is a ratio that I am very happy with. 6 blocks, 11 turnovers, eight steals. These are all great numbers. 33 fast break points, great. They match even for even on the paint points, pretty much 60 to 62, and they led by 21, and they finished the game up 17. 17. They won by 17 frigging points. And this game, according to Vegas, was supposed to be a toss-up. The Raptors, however, worth noting, +1 coming in, plus 1.5 coming in, and they blow the brakes off the Nets. The Nets were not great tonight, but Cameron Johnson has another good game, 24 points, really good game from him. Limited minutes, I think. He didn't play enough minutes at 28 minutes, so clearly the Nets are going in another direction. There was a lot of talk about D'Angelo Russell. What would D'Angelo Russell look like with the Nets? He was an all-star the last time he was on the Nets. Then he got moved over to the Golden State Warriors. He looked really good coming off the bench, man. And a lot of that was just the Raptors defense. The Raptors defense was not great tonight. It's an improvement, but improvement over terrible is still bad. And the Raptors defense had a lot of holes tonight. From the Raptors perspective, every starter hit double digits. Not just one double-digit scorer off the bench, Kobe Walter, who had a nice bounce-back game after last night's disaster class. He scored 11 points on 2 for 4 from 3. I think the threes generated tonight were just more open and of very different variety overall. I mean, Ochai Abaji's threes were really good tonight, 2 for 2. He's been struggling a little bit. Gradey Dick returns to the lineup with 22 points. I think defensively, he was a little bit compromised. Offensively, he made a lot of good plays. 22 points from Gradey Dick. And Jakob Poeltl, 12 points, 9 rebounds. A lot of it coming late in that pick and roll with Immanuel Quickley. IQ in his return, 21 points and 15 assists with 4 rebounds. He shot 7 for 16. That will improve. He is a pretty efficient player. He will continue to, take a lot of shots, but I like the number of attempts, right? There were a couple of bad shots in there, but sure, you live with it. Immanuel Quickley did way more good than bad tonight. And he and Ochai Abaji led the team with a plus 23. And on the Nets side, they get 22 points, as I mentioned, off of the bench from D'Angelo Russell, and 16 points from Nick Claxton, who got ejected the last time the two teams played. And they got 17 points on very low efficiency from Keon Johnson. They were without Cam Thomas tonight, and I think that would have really helped them a lot to keep this closer because, bucket getters like that, Cameron Johnson, RJ Barrett, et cetera, they just moved the score up a little bit, and I think overall that would have been beneficial for them. Okay, let's take a look at some of the plays, and then we'll get to your calls. If you want to call in, if you want to, talk a little bit about some of the shit that was said about Scottie Barnes yesterday, we'll talk, but I'm sure I got a lot to say. All right. Okay, this was a crazy play. Scottie trying to throw an alley-oop to Ochai Abaji ends up hitting a 3. That's a nice start. For a guy who's been struggling from 3, you like to see one go in early, right? Now, Scottie Barnes, I said Scottie in his Kawhi bag right now. I mean, the shot is not easy. Feels the defender, pushes a little bit, and then boom, turn around, fade away. I mean, this is Kawhi Leonard's bread and butter. This is KD's bread and butter. This was Vince Carter's bread and butter, Kobe's bread and butter. All superstars do this. Scottie's doing this. Now, this was some embarrassing defense. Like, this is really, really bad defense. Oh, we got a super chat. Rest in peace, Sasha. IQ looked good. There's still a ton of room for improvement. This is Scottie I like to see with a good lineup next year. Thank you so much, James Barron, for the super chat. I really appreciate you. Okay. Let's take a look at this defense. I mean, this is just bad. Scottie pointing out, hey, Nick Claxton and Kelly Olynyk is just way too relaxed right now. Okay, you need to cut this off before he gets a foot in the paint. And now You just letting him step beyond you. This is the easiest layup of Nick Claxton's life. Nick Claxton's not a bum, okay? Like, this is a $25 million a year player for a reason. Okay, I'm not saying he's some all-star, but he's a good player. Scottie Barnes, we say Scottie doesn't have a bag. Okay, well, what the hell is this? This is complete self-generated offense. Nobody needs to do anything for him. And frankly, if you're going to play him single coverage with a smaller defender, he's going to do that every single night. Okay, Awful Coaching released a video last night, and subject of a lot of his ire was Jamal Shed digging at the basketball and gambling a little bit. Here, I think it's worth pointing out Jamal Shed does not need to do this. Okay, you have numbers here. I mean, you don't have great positioning defensively because Jakob Poeltl is really high. You don't have rim protection back there. But Ochai Agbaji and, I think Ochai needs to cut this off as well. But Jamal Shed makes this way too hard on his team. And here, just gathering. And there's nothing here, right? That gamble opens up the defense for that. And against a better team, you're going to get killed, right? Now here, it seems pretty obvious to me at this point. I mean, it's been obvious to me all year that Jamal Shed is the second best, the backup point guard, the definitive, under 6 foot, under 6'1" point guard on this team. He, Immanuel Quickley, I think that should be the rotation. But we've had a lot of people in the media saying, no. It's Davion Mitchell. Davion Mitchell is really good. Davion Mitchell deserves, potentially 11 million, 10 million, 9 million. Okay, cool. Well, it seems pretty clear to me right now, as a told you so moment, that Jamal Shed has officially earned the backup point guard role. And he is doing it for this reason. Now here, Gradey Dick, we've criticized his defense. Here, he has a good defensive play where he sits in the gap and he pokes that ball loose. And then Jamal Shed gets into the middle of the floor and fans it out. Boom. Gradey Dick, perfect. And this is why he was so efficient tonight. He's took great shots. Okay. Jamal Shed, okay, I say it. Jamal Shed has officially earned the backup point guard spot. Yes, he has. Okay. Here we go. D'Angelo Russell opens up, little push off. Boom. Nice. That will be the bread and butter. If he wants to be a successful NBA player, he's going to have to do that. And he's athletic enough and bursty enough to do that. And here, once again, another Jamal Shed moment. Sorry, that was Immanuel Quickley. I apologize. That is Immanuel Quickley. So Immanuel Quickley comes off this. Boom. You missed this, man. You missed this. This is your second best player. Definitively your second best player. He's a really good player. Okay. Ochai to Gradey. Great offense. All right. Let's check this out here. So Scottie just quickly passes off to Ochai. We don't think of Ochai as a passer. We really don't. But here, this is a really good pass. And clearly, he sees this coming. But the minute he touches the paint, you're going to see Cameron Johnson relax and lose Gradey. Boom. And here comes Gradey. The rotation from Clowney is late. And boom. There goes that. Okay. Here, Scottie Barnes is going to find Jakob Poeltl. Jakob Poeltl, easiest shot diet ever tonight. IQ found him. Scottie found him multiple times. Take that. And boom. Boom goes the dynamite. Jakob Poeltl, a floater merchant, if I ever saw one, goes in for a slam. Love it. Okay. Now, I really took offense to some of the Scottie slander last night. I did. I know I said I don't want to. I know I said I don't hear it, but I do hear it. I hear it when it's on my timeline and it gets upvoted 47 times. And to y'all, I say this. Where are you now? Where are you now? What do you got to say now? Oh, Scottie shouldn't take pull-up jumpers. Okay, well, he just took a pull-up jumper and hit it in Cameron Johnson's face. Cam's a pretty good defender. I said, shut the hell up. Oh, you think it's a fluke? Scottie about to dance on y'all, man. Come on. Watch this. Boom. Takes two defenders. Stop. Turn around. Pop. Boom. Can't stop it. Okay? That was the whole side of the floor on him. What about this? Everything jumper. Nick Claxton. Good defender. Good jump shooter. Step back. Boom. Jumper. Scottie with a little bit of dance. He gave Juwan Howard a little private show there. Like you could see Jordy Fernandez. Look at their faces. Look at their faces. They are not thrilled. Look at I mean, Juwan Howard looks like he's on another planet right now. But Jordy Fernandez and this coach next to him, who I do not know who that is, they do not look impressed with Scottie's dancing skills. But I hope they like his jump shot, because this is. Tell him, Scottie. Tell him. Dudes were hating on him, wishing people a happy New Year's. My God. Again, Scottie was the focus of the film study today because of all the shit that was said. And don't you worry, we're gonna highlight some of those comments tonight. Okay, we already looked at that play. Move on. Okay, a non-Scottie play, which is Gradey. Okay, Gradey doing a little bit more than just being a shooter here. Check this out. So Shed passing over, closeout, goes past. Yo, do you realize Gradey just took on the whole damn team? Around, into the help, dribbles away, gamble, floater. Well, scoop layup. Okay, love it. Noah Clowney, this was a scary fall. I mean, he bumps into Scottie Barnes, who's like a human brick wall, takes the fall, leaves the game, does not come back. And here I say, welcome Immanuel Quickley. Oh my goodness, what a pass. That was just, the fans needed this one. To the season ticket holders who paid premium dollars for this garbage ass product that we've seen all year, this was a feel good game to ring in the new year. You feel good for these guys. You feel good for this team, right? And here's some of those comments. Don't you worry. We're going to come back to this. Remind me if I forget, but please remind me to come back to this. Immanuel Quickley from the logo. 1 foot on the logo. That's a Steph Curry 3. Love it. And did Scottie Barnes get involved? Yeah, Scottie with the dunk. Scottie with the dunk. Love it. Okay. Love it. Honestly, I'm happy for this team. Because of all the shit that they've heard for Darko Rajakovic. Oh, he can't coach. Okay. Love it. And just in case you didn't get enough of that, here, Scottie doing his Montverde Eagles thing. He was on his Sharks tip today. Little looks back. Slam. Love it. Let them hear you, man. Let them hear you. And here, just in case you ever had any doubts, Immanuel Quickley, the Raptors up 17. IQ takes him off. Cam Johnson. Nope. Oh, that's a tough shot. That is a really tough shot over a bigger defender. But what some people don't realize is Immanuel Quickley is not small. IQ is 6'3". I have seen this dude. He is like, every time you see him, you're like, he's bigger than you think. Now, there's no way that anyone in the world is going to block this shot. This is not a blockable shot. Look at where everyone is. Grady's not blocking this. He's not athletic enough. Scottie can't block this. He's low. And nope, he blocked it. Get that garbage out of here. Okay. I seem to recall a certain podcaster last night sitting here saying Scottie will be, Scottie should aspire to be like Jaylen Brown. He should aspire to be as good as Jaylen Brown. I got news for you. Scottie Barnes is better than Jaylen Brown right now. Right now, he's better than Jaylen Brown. Y'all do not realize how much harder it is to play on a team that's bad than it is to play on a team that's good. If Jaylen Brown was on this team, he would average 8 turnovers a game. Okay, Scottie Barnes with 33 points, 14 for 18 shooting, 13 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 1 block, plus 14, 3 out of 4 from 3, including that one crazy one. Okay, first, a little bit of a tribute to my dear dog, Sasha. Sasha passed away last night. 5:30 in the morning. My girlfriend and I were watching a movie because he was really in a lot of pain. He was complaining. So we were like, you know what? We're going to just keep him company. And I lay down on the floor next to him as he was, he really not been eating very well in the last 3 days. We've had to basically give him water through a tube, been giving him food through a tube. And I was like, you know what? I just lay down next to him and I said, you know what, buddy? You can let go. You can let go. Like, I know that you don't want to, but you can let go. If you're holding on for me, you don't have to hold on anymore. You just let go. And 15 minutes later, he started complaining again. I pulled him up my arms, and then my girlfriend woke up because she fell asleep watching the film. And I started to feel him twitch a little bit. And I said, you need to leave. And she left. And it was about 20 seconds later that I felt him breathe his last breath as he just fell limp. And then I just went over to my girlfriend to tell her, and I don't think I've ever cried so much in my life. This dog was my everything. I got him a few months after my mom passed away in 2008, and he's been by my side, like, literally. I don't remember life without him. So it is gonna be really hard. But to those of you who met him, some of you have, to those of you who knew him, to those of you who loved him, thank you for your condolences. The outpouring of, support has been crazy. Yeah, he was my best friend. So I hope that he is up there in heaven. So I'm gonna get off that very emotional, very somber note and get to ripping these haters, man, because honestly, nothing makes me feel better right now than just talking about these people. Okay, Gag and Flow. Scottie is not him. You do not build a team surrounding him. Hopefully this draft class will find a true number one. 28 upvotes on our comment section. Y'all should go check how many upvotes. Good game, 391. You called me all kinds of names for saying saying not to build around Scottie yet, and he was able to be the primary ball handler and to allow him to grow his offensive game under a few vets. Siakam never hindered him. He helped him. Now all the pressure's on Scottie. Blah 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 blah. Bullshit. But 47 upvotes on our comment section. Now Matt Tootley, okay, whatever. Matt Clown. All right. That Scottie Draymond comparison is looking pretty accurate at the moment. Preferred number 2, number 3 offensive option, filling the stat line with everything else. I got more excitement watching Norman Powell develop an offensive game as opposed to Scottie. 10 upvotes? Are you kidding me? Wow. Norman Powell. Okay. Draymond Green. This is where we're at. Okay. This is what happens when you coddle your franchise player instead of keeping it real. He'll turn into a gigantic baby. This comment was over on Hello and Welcome, which is where the clown comment should be and should remain. Ned6307 loves Scottie, but to get the best out of him, he needs to be that Robin Siakam role in the power forwards position. I thought Siakam was a top 5, top 10 player. What happened here? Okay. We need a true out and out creator. Don't think that's Quickley either. Okay, cool. I'm not about to take one game against the Nets as gospel, but Scottie has done more than enough in his life to warrant a little bit more respect than this bullshit ass, jeez, y'all really dumb. Okay. Let's talk about this game. Now, obviously, the Raptors are not making the playoffs. Okay, we could be real about that, right? We can be real about that. The Raptors are not trying to make the playoffs. They haven't been, wanting to make the playoffs. But I can't help but think about the Utah Jazz right now. I can't think about the players on the Utah Jazz and just how bad they look, man. I can't help but think about Scoot Henderson and Shaedon Sharpe and sometimes how bad they look over in Portland. And I just find myself thinking it's really hard to be good on a bad team. It's so hard to be good on a bad team when you don't have proper spacing around you. And honestly, this is my biggest adjustment to understanding Cade Cunningham from last year, right? And it makes you realize, hey, like there are levels to this, and there's certain things that you're not going to be able to mask. And good teams do a really good job of hiding their players' weaknesses. They do a great job of that, right? They do a great job of just masking the elements of their weaknesses. And right now, you take teams like, Will Hardy and Danny Ainge over in Utah, and it's very clear what they're trying to do right now, which they're trying to develop, and they're trying to tank for Cooper Flag. They want Cooper Flag. They want Ace Bailey. They want those guys. So when you look at a team like that and you see how Lauri Markkanen is being used this year, you would be very forgiven. Well, not really forgiven, but you would be fair to think that Lauri Markkanen is just a bum who fell off. He's not an all-star anymore. Look at his play. Look at how bad he's been. Lauri Markkanen has looked bad this year. He hasn't looked like an all-star. He hasn't looked like a star. He hasn't looked like an all-NBA player. And yet he was just paid as a max contract guy at 28. What happened to Lauri Markkanen? Did he turn into a bum? Did he get paid and get fat? No, he didn't. He didn't get bad. He's doing things that he is objectively bad at to get better at the things that he's bad at so that he'll be better next year. Scottie Barnes right now can do what he did tonight anytime he wants. anytime he wants. If you want him to mismatch hunt on point guards and post them up and get to the front of the rim, he can do that whenever the hell he wants. You want him to do a rip through dribble and get 2 feet in the paint and pass out every time, he can do that whenever he wants. The point is not to become better at the things you're already good at. The point is to get better at the things you're not good at. And anytime you're going to try to do something that you're not good at, you're going to look bad. What is wrong with people? Scottie Barnes is a bum. Last year didn't happen. Ankle injuries don't hinder anything. I would pray one day that this fan base can become a little less bipolar. Really, I wish. Salute, Carvin. Also, a big happy new year to all of you. This was a dominant win to start the new year out on. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it. This was fun, man. This was fun basketball. Up and down. Thought the defense looked pretty competent at times. I think the energy level was through the roof. I thought there was a lot of pizzazz. I thought there was no hangover from yesterday's game. You would not be able to tell that this team just got blown out by 50 plus yesterday. You could not tell that today. They came out, they gave a professional effort. It was a professional effort. There's a lot to talk about. Ochai's defense was really good. It was really pesky. I liked his attack level. One player that really stood out as a negative was Davion Mitchell. He picked up 3 fouls and a technical in less than 13 seconds in the first half. That's tough because you don't have the leeway to have games like that. Now, I was very complimentary of Davion for hitting some threes yesterday, and over the last 6 games, he's been making some threes and hitting some threes and generally keeping those turnovers down. So he's made some progress. But tonight, a game like tonight with Immanuel Quickley coming back, I mean, you really need Davion Mitchell to just be a little bit more solid than that, man. You're not a rookie anymore. You really are holding your breath, in terms of your NBA future right now. You just can't afford to have games like this. Yes, it was 13 seconds. So it was 2:01, the 2:01 minute mark. He picks up his first foul, hunting D'Angelo Russell. Then he picks up his second foul at 1:59. And then I believe the next one was at 1:49. And it was a shooting foul, and he gets the technical, and they get 3 free throws. Those are the mistakes that you just can't have, right? You just can't have those types of mistakes. Now, I got good news and I got bad news. The good news is some of the players who played really well for you tonight, they're a big part of your future. They're a big part of your future. Immanuel Quickley most likely is going to be here for a while. I mean, obviously, no one is safe when it comes to trades at this time, but I think. Well, no one but Scottie is really safe from trades when it comes to this time. But I think Immanuel Quickley played a really competent game, and he's a huge part of your future. Scottie's a huge part of your future. He's your building block, right? Gradey is a big part of your future. Jacoby's a big part of your future. And all those players played well tonight. Those are really good players. Like, they're good young players to build with, right? Jonathan Mobo continues to be in the doghouse. James saying, do you think we re-sign Davion for next season? No, I don't. I'm not even necessarily against it. I just hope it's not. I just hope it's nothing typical. Like, the Raptors have a really bad tendency of overpaying guys for whatever reason, and I don't understand it. But Kelly, Boucher, Kem, they have a tendency to overpay these guys that become like hustle guys, fan favorites. They tend to overpay those guys. So if you pay Davion Mitchell anything over a minimum contract or $3 million next year, I will straight up riot. Like, I will make a video about it. It would be really stupid. All right. There's another comment that needs to be addressed, which is Jack Armstrong. Lord help me. Like, it is so obvious that this dude has some sort of like day-to-day agenda against Scottie, and I don't get it. Did Scottie not sign you? Did Scottie not sign your autograph? Was he mean to you when y'all recorded a commercial? What is wrong with Jack Armstrong? It is not tough love. I know what tough love sounds like. This is not tough love. This is just constant bickering and hating. It is relentless. It's been relentless for 3 years. And look, the last time I saw Jack Armstrong really go at a player, it was Vince Carter. And I hated it then, and I hate it now. This dude has lost his fucking marbles. Okay, multiple times. He does not identify talent. He does not see the talent, or maybe he does see the talent and he doesn't register the process. Irrelevant. consistently feeding the fan base with this narrative of Scottie's taking too many threes, Scottie's taking too many threes. Let me clue you in on something. The best version of Scottie takes 8 threes a game. The best version. You might not think he's there as a shooter right now, and that's okay. But the best version of him is a 3-level scorer who takes a lot of pull-up threes. That's the best version of him. You got to build that muscle memory and the reps up to that. But how else are you going to do that other than allowing him to do it? People complain about the stupidest stuff, and they are dumb as shit. People complain about how Lauri Markkanen is being used right now. People complain about how Victor Wembanyama is being used. And then when all of that development pays off, these people go into the hiding like fucking beavers, and I'm sick to death of it. I am sick to death of this relentless, clueless maligning of clearly competent development coaches trying to work through the wrinkles of convincing players to go against what they're naturally prone to doing, and how difficult that is to begin with. And to have this fan base being fed this absolutely insane bullshit, because obviously when Scottie Barnes airballs a 3 on a pull-up with 3 seconds, off the clock, you're like, that's a bad shot. That's a terrible shot. But you know what? A better shooter, that's a great shot. If you're open, it's a great shot. The day he starts taking that contested with 4 teammates open, yeah, I'll complain. But if you're going to drop on him, and if you're going to sink, and you're going to clog the paint, and you're going to pack the lanes, and you're going to force the drive, I have to shoot. I have to shoot. And you know what? The percentages don't bother me. They don't bother me. Tonight, you saw Gradey take some of the easiest threes he's taken all year. And guess what? He made a ton of them. There's a player, Cody Williams, who plays over for the Utah Jazz right now. Okay, he was in college basketball last year. I think he played for Colorado. Cody Williams, younger brother of Jalen Williams. I got to tell you, man, Cody Williams hit a lot of threes, and he hit a large percentage of his threes in college basketball. But he's not a good three-point shooter. He took the easiest threes in the world. Davion Mitchell took a lot of easy threes at Baylor, and his percentages went through the roof. He shot 43%. Is he a 43% three-point shooter to you? Hell no. If you only take open catch and shoot threes, your percentages will be higher. If you take pull-up threes, there was a crazy stat. Let me tell you, there was a crazy stat. This was from Buddy Hield. I can't remember what year it was, but there was a crazy stat. I remember reading it. Buddy Hield shot 85% on catch and shoot three-pointers. The minute he took one dribble step back, he became 11%. That's a 70% drop, a 75% drop. Think about what I'm saying. It's hard to shoot off the dribble. It's hard to shoot pull-up threes. It's hard to shoot contested, self-generated threes. These are the hardest shots in the league. And it's harder to do it from above the break because that's a further distance. Scottie is consistently doing it from 27, 28 feet. These are hard shots. What do you think Immanuel Quickley got fucking paid for? What do you think Immanuel Quickley got paid $32 million for? Because he takes and makes some of the hardest shots in the NBA. That is really good. It's good because those are shots that are always available. Those hard-ass shots are the ones that you go to when it's a tight clock scenario. How many times tonight did Immanuel Quickley make something out of nothing? Scottie in the low post, get your butt in the post. You dumbasses. That's not up for debate. We don't need to see him do what he's done for 15 years. We know he can do that. He's been doing it since grade school. I know Scottie Barnes can score in the post on D'Angelo Russell. But you feel better if he gets those 2 points as opposed to going for the turnaround. Well, guess what? The turnaround's better for his better for his development. What do you want? What the fuck do you want? You want Derek Coleman? Is that who you're trying to build around in 2025? You want to build around Derek Coleman? You want to build around Jason Tatum? You want to build around Shai Gilgeous-Alexander? Or are you trying to build around Nick Claxton, Clint Capella? What the fuck? Just because the player is naturally good at something does not mean they should not go away from their natural tendencies and become better at something else. It's not the way it works. I mean, especially when you're not competing for a championship, you're not competing for the playoffs. Why not do this? Jeremy Sohan is not a point guard. Nope, he was not a point guard. Guess what? Giannis Antetokounmpo was not a point guard either. They tried to make him one. And do you think that Giannis Antetokounmpo is a much better playmaker today because they tried to make him a point guard? Yes. Do you think Jason Kidd caught a lot of flack when he did that? 100%. Who does Jason Kidd think he is, turning this scrawny Greek kid into a point guard? Who do the Nuggets think they are, having this chubby Serbian running the fast break? I get sick and tired of this, man, because it's like, it doesn't feel fair. It doesn't feel fair that these people get to talk all this nonsense yesterday, but today, quiet, nothing. I'll guarantee you none of them comment today. None of them. They're not going to say anything. They are not going to say anything. They're going to wait. They're going to wait for the next 2 of 12, shooting from 3, and then they're going to comment, see, told you so. What happened in the last 10 games? Nope. No, didn't count. Didn't count. I don't understand it. Are you a fan of the team? Do you want the team to be good? Well, I got news for you. If Scottie Barnes does not turn into a star, this team is not going to be good ever. You're not going to be good for the next 8 years if this guy doesn't become a superstar. So whether you hate him, whether you love him, whether you want him on this team, whether you don't want him on this team, whether you wanted Jalen Suggs, whether you wanted him traded for KD, shut the fuck up and support this dude. Just stop. You are embarrassing all of us. You're embarrassing yourselves, first of all, but you are embarrassing our fan base. You don't think Scottie gets enough criticism online? You don't think he gets maligned enough by other media outlets, by other teams? You don't think enough of those TISM people on Reddit and Twitter, those low-live motherfuckers? You don't think those people have enough fire before you, a Raptor fan, decides that you are going to criticize a guy just because he's going through a cold streak? Cold streaks happen, man. Cold streaks happen. Damn. So all I'm saying is stay on that side. Last year, I said I would not be the stay on your side person. I said, no. If you were criticizing Scottie Barnes in year 2, no, come on that side. It's okay. You know, we're good. We're friends. We are not friends. We are not friends. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be your friend. You can leave. Get the fuck out. Don't let the door hit you on your way out. Actually, do let the door hit you on your way out. Okay? I'm done with it. I'm done with it. What I will tell you, though, is the same thing I told you in year 1. It's the same thing I told you before the draft. It's the same thing I told you in year 2, year 3, year 4. I've told you this every fucking year. There ain't nobody in the Raptor space in the world. There is nobody in the world who has been more correct on the projection of this kid than I have been. You might say I've been early by a year every single year. Fine. Let me be early again. This year, I said he'd be a top 15 player. Okay. Oops. Didn't happen. Wait till next year. I'm early again. He's going to be good, man. If you can't identify it at this point, it's okay. It's okay. Basketball ain't for everybody. Okay? Basketball is not for everybody. It's just not for everybody, man. Basketball analysis is not for everybody. Rob, are we doing post games tonight? Well, if they post them, calm down, man. Sorry, I just assume you're a tweaker. He does well, let's celebrate him. He does bad, let's critique him. Critique is cool. Critique is okay. Needs to work on his handle. That's critique. That's fair. Okay? Needs to work on his bag. That's critique. That's fair. Those are fair points. He has a ways to go before, he's in conversations with Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and other superstars. That's fair. I think those are all fair points. Trade this bum. He's Draymond Green. He's never going to be a star. He's I can't believe Fred was right. Pascal was right. Yo, I read that comment. Don't fucking tell me I didn't read that comment. Fred was right. Go check Fred's box score. God damn it. All right. Yo, Coach Mo, what up?
I didn't know IQ was playing. I was running errands. I get home. I'm like, oh no, the Raptors are playing. So I get home. It's like the third quarter. I see IQ. I'm like, oh my God. The other game, Bruce just played. I'm like, what? Bruce is back? Like I don't know. I guess I've been tuning out a little bit of the Raptors. It was getting a little depressing, but yeah, guys are coming back. But I just remember Jack. I get into the game and Jack is just he's just on a rant. He's not making a point. It's he's writing a monologue on what Scottie should be doing. Right? It's like 2 to 3 minutes. It's just ongoing. I'm like, wow, you're doing a bit too much here. And the main point I want to make, and I want everyone listening to understand, is Scottie Barnes is by far our best player. We know that. People with a sense know that. There's only one player on this roster that makes his life easier, and he played tonight. There is only one player good enough to make his life easier. RJ is not good enough to make Scottie's life easier. Scottie makes RJ's life easier.
Facts.
RJ helps a bit IQ creates space. He has to be guarded. He's the only true 3-level scorer on this team right now. Defensively, he has his quirks, but
Yeah.
with IQ playing, Scottie can be efficient. If IQ isn't playing, there isn't enough offense to make him efficient. It's just not possible with his skill set. I just don't think it's possible. There's
Yeah.
too much talent, especially on the perimeter, to make his life easy because the bigs. And again, Gradey is a shooter, yes, but Gradey compromises Scottie defensively. He has to work harder defensively. Yes, Kelly can space the floor. The problem is Scottie has to work too hard defensively to make up for Kelly, right? IQ is the only guy that helps him on offense, and he doesn't have to drag him on the that doesn't like weigh him down defensively.
I think it's just the fact that, you know, Immanuel Quickley stretches the floor so much vertically. It's because he's so dominant from the range of the court that is typically associated with like star guards, right? Like Trae Young, you know, Trae Young, Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, etc. I realize he's not those players, and maybe he'll never be those players. Actually, I'll definitely say it. He's never going to be those players. But if he can be 75% of those players at some point, if he can stretch the floor that way, that's the perfect thing. I don't think people realize when they compare a Scottie Barnes to a Jalen Johnson or something like that. I don't think they understand how much easier it is to play with Trae Young as a wing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, damn. So it's just, you know, Immanuel Quickley, I think some of his decision making tonight was much, much better. I think last year saw him struggle a lot. For Jack to say he's a more natural playmaker than Scottie is some of the most insane, like that you know what? You ever seen a player where, you know, in like rec league where you're like, I think that dude should be drug tested?
Yeah.
Nah, he don't look right. He needs to be drug tested. I feel like you need to drug test Jack Armstrong after that take. Immanuel Quickley's biggest weakness is his decision making in the half court. Like, it is his biggest weakness. Finishing at the rim, decision making in the half court. He has no problems, you know, scoring you know, in the mid range and the floater range from three. He's been doing that his whole life. But he has not been associated with natural point guard. He struggled as a natural point guard in year two as a Knick. They moved him back to that sort of off ball role. He thrived next to Jalen Brunson. It's really crazy to say that he's a more natural playmaker than Scottie Barnes. Like, that is really next level lunacy.
I
Like,
mean,
Scottie sees the entire court from the back of his mind. Like, it's really nuts to see how much this skill set of his gets downplayed, especially because they have front row seats to it every night.
well, they just see the turnovers, they see the shooting percentage. Scottie Barnes this year, with all the injuries and the roster construction, has basically put in a position to fail because he's primarily a big playmaker who struggles to create offense for himself. And he's basically been playing with players he needs to create for and don't create for him. When was the last time he got a lob?
Yeah, it's been a while.
When was the last time someone just gave him 6 points for free that he doesn't have to fight for?
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, Coach Mo. I don't care. I don't care about his easy 6 points. I know when the Raptors are good, this dude is going to get 14 easy points every game because he's that type of player. What I'm concerned about, see, like, every great player has easy and hard points. Average players have a lot of easy points and very few hard points. Really bad players have only easy points. So if you want to be a superstar, 60 to 50% of your diet is going to have to be self-generated, difficult shots on high efficiency relative to the shot you're taking. That's Kawhi Leonard in a nutshell. You know what I mean? Kawhi Leonard is not a run and dunk merchant. Kawhi Leonard is not a catch and shoot merchant. Kawhi Leonard is an offensive cheat code that you put into the middle of the floor, collapse the defense, and there's nothing they can do about it. That's the guaranteed bucket, because almost every playoff game is going to at some point teeter around 86, 89. And at that point, when you can dump it into your star player and they can generate 10 points of easy offense for you, that's when you get that accelerated boost. It's a little bit like, I don't know, like, I don't know shit about cars, but everything I know about cars I learned from Fast and Furious. It's like a little NOS injection, you know, like that, you know, a little boost. That's what a superstar is. A superstar is like a NOS, tank in your car. And Scottie is like you know, when I talked to Brian, his trainer, about it, there was like that point about Anthony Davis. Like he gets easy ones. I know Scottie can get easy points. Scottie layups, Scottie under the basket, Scottie cuts, dives behind the rim. Yo, Scottie pick and roll where he's the roller. Oh my God, Scottie would score 20 points a game easy on that. But when he starts scoring 18, 16 points in the half court, hard shots, now what happens when you get on a good team? He could score 28, 30, you know? And I really think if this dude put his mind to it, if he wanted to, he could score 30 points right now. Like he could average 26 right now, 26 to 28. If he really pushed for it, maybe the efficiency would be a little bit bad. But like as a pick and roll guy, like as a roller, oh my God, yes. As the ball handler, it's harder though. It's harder at his size with his handle right now. It's harder with his jump shooting. The way they're playing him as a jump shooter, it's harder, right? Initiating with this talent is harder. But if you put him in Golden State right now in place of Draymond, yeah, this dude could get 28 points easy, easy peasy.
I'm looking at the schedule and it's like, okay, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
If RJ, what's the any updates on RJ?
No idea. He's sick, right?
Yeah. I mean, is it that bad? This is his second game.
I mean, who's the second guess in illness? I don't know how sick
No,
he is.
I'm not doubting he's sick.
There's a virus going around. I don't know. I don't remember what it's called, but apparently makes you vomit a lot.
Well, Orlando and Milwaukee, New York, Cleveland. Whew.
Orlando is very beatable.
They're beatable. I just remember people like you were on this, and I felt the same way. Like, man, IQ is good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's more than believable he can live up to this contract this year. Like, I had a feeling he's nice.
Yeah.
And tonight he proved it. Man, the gap between him and the two guys behind him, oh my God. Oh my God. People, there were comments, I'm sure you've seen them around, where the basis of these comments basically were summed up in this. Okay, yeah, IQ's better, but the defense gets worse. So it was kind of like an offense-defense trade-off. No, because let's say they're better defensively. Okay, by a decent amount. The gap offensively is so massive.
Mm-hmm.
They're in different galaxies.
Facts.
That we don't even know exist. You know, wherever Matthew McConaughey was Interstellar, that's where he's at. That's the gap offensively. So I don't care about the defense. I'm watching them guard the pick and roll, and the big he doesn't even want to fall back because the defender, the primary defender on him hasn't caught up yet. And he's like, I can't give him the shot. And Yak is getting to the basket and he's creating angles because you can't give that guy space. The big is like, dude, get back here. Because coach said, don't leave this guy. Meanwhile, Shed and Mitchell, my God, please shoot, please.
Yeah. Well, I think the Sixers are on the verge of blowing out the Kings, or at least beating the Kings tonight, which would be pretty embarrassing given the Kings have basically lost 6 straight, then beat the Mavericks without Luka and Kyrie, and are now about to lose their 7th out of 8. But that means the Sixers are climbing. So, you know, there's really no chance of a play-in push at this point. I would love for us to revert back to the tank. We avoid, you know, making that sort of like narrative around the Pistons game of like, oh my God, they're about to lose 17 straight, franchise record. So we get out of that. Just do this, you know, lose 8, win 1, lose 9, win 1, lose 10, win 1. Kind of like that. Just keep out of the history books.
Here's the problem.
Dude, it's easy to lose these games. You just put Kelly at center. It's really easy.
No, I agree, but I'm saying this. We were doing the ethical tank because the tank gods gave us these injuries. They've blessed us, okay, which sounds weird, but it went from ethical tank. Now the front office is going to have to tinker. They're going to have to switch the dial from ethical tank to unethical to keep this up. It's going to have to go to unethical, and it's going to have to happen now. Pretty soon, because when RJ gets back and IQ's playing and Scottie's playing and Jakob is playing, yeah, we're nowhere near as going to be as bad as those bottom 5, 6. Just if IQ and Scottie play.
I agree with that.
So the unethical tank is going to have to hit around trade deadline. As soon as the trade deadline hit, they're gonna have to crank that unethical bar, and they're gonna have to max it out.
Yeah, I mean, Resident One with a really good point. Let's not overestimate the impact. Also, Resident One, your video will be done next week. So, Resident One is the first ever in channel history video request via e-transfer. Very cool concept. We're definitely going to play with it a lot after Pen Dance. I think that's a good idea, right? You know, someone wants to request a video about a certain topic, they e-transfer, boom, it works. So yes, so it'll be done. Yeah, later this week. Or wait, what is Wednesday? Yeah, this weekend. We're gonna work on it this weekend and get it done. Yeah. Okay. Any kind of any final thoughts? I want to get to the post game.
Okay, I have one question for you.
What's up?
There's with the Kings coach firing,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of rumors, and the main one is Fox to the Rockets, right? That has a lot of buzz. What do you think is going to happen with the Kings? You think they're just going to bash their head against the wall like we did in 22-23?
Or you mean like they're gonna have a fire sale?
I mean, are they going to do what we did and get a yak for no reason? I think they should sell.
Yikes. Yeah. I
mean, at least Fox. I'm not saying sell everyone now. With the CBA, it's kind of hard, but I mean, Pat Riley
depending
talked
on
about
what they get back for Fox, they might be good. They might actually be better off. Fox has not been good this year.
Do you think the Rockets should do it?
Yes.
And what
I
would
do.
you?
First
what
of all,
would you trade?
he is from there. So he's a hometown kid. Yeah,
He's from Houston?
he's either from he's from Texas. That much I'll tell you. He might be from Houston. Let me just check. De'Aaron Fox is born in. Oh, my bad. He's born in New Orleans, Louisiana. Why did I think he was from there? Did he go to high school there? Ah, yeah. See, so he was born in Louisiana, but he attended Cypress Lakes High School in Texas, which is in. Is it in Houston? It's in Katy.
It's actually crazy,
It's
Rob.
in Katy, Texas.
If you check out the Western Conference standings, it's so insane. The Suns are not even in the play-in right now. With all the money they spent on that roster, they're not even in the play-in. They're like 11th or something, and the Sacramento Kings aren't either. It's crazy. It's so insane.
Sure. Yeah, it's a really tough road, but I think De'Aaron Fox with all those defenders, provided they can keep Amen Thompson and Tari Eason. I mean, if it just costs them Jabari Smith and Fred VanVleet, I would go for it. If it costs them like that plus a first round pick, I'd go for it. Fred is almost addition by subtraction at this point. I just think like the high pick and roll with, I think that pick and roll with Fox and Schengen would be so incredible. So yeah.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, indeed.
I thought the New Year stream was it was just you playing chess. Huh?
It was. So to anyone who is a little bit like, oh, what happened to the New Year stream? It was pretty much me playing chess and me going through the Raptors 2K rebuild in very incoherent fashion. So basically, yeah, not a lot of continuity or coherence to how I did it. So yeah, but it was nice for the 85 to 90 people who were there at any given time. It was nice to just wish them a happy New Year. Yeah.
All right, and for everyone, we're getting second round picks. Like Boucher isn't worth anything. Nobody we have is worth the first. Maybe Jakob. Maybe if someone's desperate. Maybe. And it's going to be a bad first. Bruce maybe 1 second, maybe at this point. I mean, we saw what the Lakers trade was, and they're desperate.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Peace. Okay. Have a good one. Happy New Year. Okay. A couple comments here. DeRozan was a bad signing for them. They should have added more defensive-minded players. 100% agree. Who could have seen it coming? All right. And KP with a super chat, that inverted pick and roll or pop with IQ and Scottie Barnes creates advantages that nothing else has for us this year. I 100% agree with you. Okay. Kenneth Lau saying, any chance for Fox to the Raptors? Very unlikely. We could get picks for Yak. I don't know how many picks you get or what quality of picks or how high a quality of picks, but would you take Ryan Dunn for Yak? I'm not sure. I don't know. All right, let's try to go through this. The Raptors YouTube has not posted this, but the Raptors website has. Let me know if y'all can hear this. We're gonna try to.
How nice was it to connect with IQ back on the floor again?
It was amazing. It was great. The intensity that he brought to the floor tonight, both ends of the floor, it was great. Something that we really missed and we needed. His playmaking ability, his ability to just get to the paint, his shooting, all that we needed that. And his leadership, he was unbelievable talking throughout the whole entire game today. So, we really missed it.
Was it nice for you to kind of play off the ball a little bit more and kind of find your opportunities that way?
For sure. It was definitely nice to play off the ball. I can be a little bit more aggressive rather than just thinking about playmaking the whole time. So, it was nice to be able to just do that and then be able to just make other reads.
You guys have only played together twice in, I guess, the last 10 months, but you spent so much time together over the summer. Did it feel like you were just picking up where you left off?
For sure. His IQ is very high, so he knows how to read the game right in the middle of moments, and, he allows everybody else to be able to play while he's able to just be able to read the game. So, it just makes things easy. We're not doing nothing too crazy out there, just making reads. Him driving, a little cut, you see, he throws a lob. I go for a seal. I'm pushing my man up, throws it right over the top. He did that about 2 or 3 times today. So just making those easy reads. And his IQ, he's able to make those passes and make those reads.
Darko was just in here saying that he thought part of the reason you played so well tonight is because of all the time you spent without Quickley as sort of the lead playmaker. How do you think that time is going to help you even when Quickley comes back and changes your position?
Say it again.
How do you think your time playing without Quickley as more of a point guard is going to help you when Quickley's back and you're playing sort of a different role?
I don't know. I've been playing point guard, but it's just it all helps in situations. Just being able to, every single game when he was out, just being able to facilitate, lead the team, trying to put people in the right spots and making reads.
Yo, these dumbasses really think Immanuel Quickley is what? Jason Kidd? Who do you think this guy is? Sean Kemp? What are you guys doing? These guys are so stupid. It is honestly embarrassing. Revoke your immediate passes.
So I can fill out those things, I guess, when I felt those things when I was bringing the ball up and just seeing those the defense when if they're pulling in and doing all these other defensive schemes, just playing off it. I guess everything else just helps it for the long run.
Hopefully RJ will be back soon. How much are you looking forward to seeing what this looks like with all of you guys out there?
It's going to be great. RJ's going to just keep taking away more. He's got to be a big scout when he's out there on the floor. He has to demand attention with the way he's able to drive the ball, get to the rim, and put that so much pressure on the rim. He just takes off so much pressure for all of us. It just makes us more dangerous.
Okay. Let's get to Immanuel Quickley. Dun, 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 dun. Okay. Nice to see Immanuel Quickley back. And also nice to see the Raptors website is loading nice and quickly. Yo, what the hell's going on here? Okay, let's do this.
How good did it feel to be back?
Felt great.
When you have the game taken away from you for a long time, you see it, you're a little bit more grateful. You miss it. And not that I took the game for granted before. I feel like I worked pretty hard, but, it's just good to compete, be out there with your teammates, coaches. It's just a different feeling than just, being on the sideline.
You're a competitor, and obviously you would have wanted to be out there whether you guys were winning or losing. But given the way things have gone the last few weeks, and specifically these last few games, how much were you itching to get back out there?
A lot, because when you're not playing, all you can really do is tell the young guys, look, hey, look for this, do this. But when I'm on the court, I can kind of, almost bark out instructions and kind of put people in the right spots to be successful, especially like defensively. We did a great job. All the guys, young guys. Yacht was great at the rim. Davion and Shed on the ball. Oach did a great job on Cam Johnson the whole night. We needed that. But all the guys, top to bottom.
When you were watching, was there a specific area where you were like, this is where I can really help when I do get back out there?
I think just overall flow of the game. I feel like sometimes, teams go on run, which is part of the game. And I think our team kind of sometimes being young, we don't understand that. And we can kind of, maybe take a bad shot for 3 straight possessions and then 2 9-0 runs and the game's over. So just trying to, sometimes you got to work the game. Brooklyn tonight got off to a great hot start. And sometimes you just got to, weather the storm. And that's kind of what I try to do a little bit.
There was a moment in the fourth where you hit that 3 and you did kind of skip down the court. You're pretty much the entire bench skipped after you. What was it like seeing their support and how happy they were that you're back?
Well, it was great. We're trying to build a culture of winning, enthusiasm, joy, unselfishness. And I think that's just where that comes from. Guys are really happy when other guys are playing well, especially and then winning on top of that, which is the most important thing. I think, as a group, we're all really happy for each other's success, which is a big part of winning.
Darko said before the game that this team needed your will, your personality. How would you describe that?
It starts from my faith, which is, trusting and believing in God, which gives me the confidence, I feel like be the best player that I can be every night. And I think that kind of can bleed into our team. We have great players on this team, great talents, and just the confidence and swagger that you have when you step on the court, knowing that, you work hard and you put the time in, you have the right to be confident. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what I believe in, how I carry myself.
And have fun?
Absolutely. You got to have fun. And winning's fun. So that's the most important.
Can you will your fun on the teammates?
What you think?
I think you probably can, but I don't
For sure you can. Absolutely.
It seemed like you were really making an effort to help the team push the pace, and like you guys run whoever's on the court, but it seemed like maybe more organized in that pushing the pace. So with the ball or without it, what's the key for you to make sure guys are in the right place as they run their legs, kind of?
I think just recognizing the situation. There was one it was 3-on-2 and Kelly was kind of like running on the wing and I was telling him run to the rim so Kobe could get a wide open 3. Or if it was like there was one early in the game, Oach had a wide open layup, just having space and trying to put guys in the right position to where they can be successful. So many guys on this team do so many great things. The way Oach finishes at the rim, Yacht can finish at the rim, Gradey and Jacoby shooting the ball. Shed and Davion, their defense. Scottie was unbelievable on both sides of the ball. So there's a lot of great things that, everybody was doing. It's just a credit to those guys.
So it's possible to sort of communicate well in transition?
Absolutely. Absolutely, you can.
Darko was talking about how teams, when they're sometimes still resilient, even if the losses are piling up. What did you notice about the team and their resiliency sort of as that losing streak was going on?
Yeah, I was saying earlier that, sometimes you can work really hard in life and not get the results you want. I've seen that for me, even with success, a lot of success I've had, there's been stretches in my life throughout my basketball career and in life where you work really hard and you don't get the results you want and you got to just come back the next day and pound the rock again. And eventually, things will start to change and you got to kind of anticipate that shift. And I think this team is, even though we haven't got the results we wanted, guys are working really hard and we're going to see a change here for sure.
RJ should be back soon. With everything you've been through individually and what you guys have been through as a team this year, how much are you looking forward to seeing what this team can do as a whole when you're all back together?
Yeah, RJ makes everybody's job easier. He's averaging like 30 points at home. So, he's one of the top scorers in this league. Defensively, he's taking a jump, and we're going to continue to need that jump from him when he comes back. And just his mindset and his will to win is second to none as well. So we're going to need RJ.
How do you think that stretch with Scottie playing point guard with you out? Darko was in here saying that he thinks it'll help Scottie even when you're on the court playing together. How do you think that'll change how Scottie sort of meshes with you and improves his game with you on the court?
Yeah, I think I think there's times in the game where, Scottie's bringing the ball and I'm playing off the ball and I can be aggressive. And then there's times where I have the ball and you see the one where I can get into lane and, make a play for Scottie. But, playing with Scottie is really easy. He does everything really at a high level, defensively, offensively. So, whatever we do, wherever we are on the floor, he makes it easy for me. So I don't have no problem playing with Scottie.
Nice. I think the question of the night was, can you communicate in transition? Really? These are the people that y'all listen to. That is next level. Amazing. Okay. Nope. That is Darko Rajakovic after the Boston game. Do we have Darkos today? Or do we not? Should have Darkos today. Here we go. Nice, nice, nice. Let's listen to what this allegedly not very good coach had to say tonight. Trust me, as much as the Scottie slander bothers me, the Darko slander bothers me almost as much.
Darko didn't see very much rust on Quickley at all. What do you think the way he played?
There was the advantage of this injury last that he had, that he was actually able to run quite a bit. First time when he was out, he was just rehabbing and he was not really allowed to run. He did a lot of conditioning lately. He was not allowed to do much contact or any contact. He started going through contact in the last 7 days and wrapping up, but his conditioning is where he needs to be, and he's just a great player that has a great feel for the team, and he did a great job tonight.
He seemed to get you guys more organized at both ends. That's his biggest skill to this group?
He's got a lot of skills, but he's point guard. He gets guys when he's bringing the ball up the floor. He's calling plays on the run, recognizing situations. That's really hard for a coach when team is in the pace and running to yell from the other side. He's doing a really good job, and he's really my extension on the floor when he plays out there. And I think him playing is going to really help other guys, especially young guys like Jamal and Jacoby, to learn some of those skills and pick up from him.
Obviously, his presence helps a lot of guys, but how much does having him on the ball help take pressure off of Scottie and allow him to do some of the other things that he's really good at?
Scottie is an amazing player. Scottie played a great game tonight, and big reason for that is all the experience that he went through as a primarily ball handler. And that really speeds up the progress of a player. You don't see that through losses. You don't see that through mistakes. But that's the best way to improve. You got to go through those experiences. You got to learn. You got to fail. You got to study the film. You got to put intentional work in. That's how you improve. There is no magic to it. There is a lot of work. There is a lot of intentionality behind it. So having Quick on the ball now can really open up a lot of stuff for Scottie in that secondary ball handler role.
I know you mentioned before the game, new year, new team now with IQ back. Simply from a morale standpoint, how important is a night like this, a win like this?
I think it's wins are always important. I always like to say, when teams playing a close game, right, and one team wins by 1 point, everybody says, "Oh, we had resiliency tonight." It just happened that the other team missed the shot. So that doesn't mean that the other team that did not have resiliency. We are going through patch with the young team, and we were showing a lot of resilience. If you guys could see the way those guys are studying the film, the way they're connected, the way they're supporting each other, you would be really, really proud of this group. And I know that I am proud of this group.
Cap, they would not be proud of this group because they are stupid, and you can't talk to stupid people.
You mentioned pregame that Quickley was going to be on a minutes restriction. He ended up playing 32 minutes tonight. Did he reach the restriction? Did you have any conversations with him mid-game where he felt better, or how did you manage that?
He was on a minute restriction. He was close to what we saw. Usually when players are out of shape, you're trying to keep them around 20, 24 minutes. For him, it was a little bit more than that. I'm not gonna share exact number with you, but we were close to perfect.
What do you think of the job that Scottie did on Ben Simmons? He seemed to defend him really well, didn't make any passing in that kind of his game. What do you think?
Scottie is ultimate soldier for the team. You know, he gives us so much that you cannot see on a box score, with his defense, with his effort plays, with communication and huddles with the guys. He's doing so much, and you know, like he has respect for players in this league, and he wants to make it really hard for those guys. So I thought that he did an outstanding job on Ben Simmons, making it hard for him to making it hard for him to get to the rim. I thought that he did a really good job.
What did you make of Gradey with Quickley coming back, with Scottie getting a lot of shots, kind of inputting himself and finding his way to a big scoring night, even with a lot of guys getting involved?
It's been a second since Gradey got a spot up shot, right? You know, so having other guys that they're gonna create gravity, it's gonna open up more and more for him. Like, so I'm really looking forward to get RJ with us, and you know, to see what it looks like with RJ. I'm sure it's gonna open up even more for us, and we need to continue make strides on defensive end as well.
It wasn't one of those like super late and close games, but in the middle of the fourth, it was pretty close. And you guys had Quickley sort of handling the offense. How does it look different for you guys with him in that position as opposed to Scottie, when it was sort of just Scottie for so long in those sort of late and close games?
It's both of them. They really help each other, you know. So I thought that we found some play that was really good for us, working for us, and we were just continuing to manipulate who was guarding in those situations. Yak was a big part. I thought that Yak tonight was outstanding. He was doing so many things for us. Especially on defensive end. He is the player that's not asking for attention. He maybe his stat line is not going to always be, amazing, but he does such an amazing thing for us that you cannot put in the box score. And tonight, big shootout goes to him.
You mentioned RJ. Have you allowed yourself to think about what this might look like when you do have everyone back, or have you just been too busy kind of just managing what's been thrown at you over the course of these crazy few months?
It goes back to what we said from the beginning. I do understand where we're at as a team. I do understand where we're at as an organization. I do understand what are we trying to achieve. This is a process. This is not 1 game, 2 games, 5 games. This is a journey that we're on. And obviously, you want to have all the guys healthy and able to play at their best level, so you know actually what you have and how they complement each other and how they can make each other better. I know that our group, they really like each other, they respect each other, and I can't wait for the moment to put them all together and build that.
Okay. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Yesterday, there was a podcast in which there was a lot of talk about Scottie on the ball. And apparently this is carried through because this is a big conversation happening right now. Is Scottie the type of player that can be a number one in a championship team? I'm going to say this definitively. I'm going to say this without flinching. I'm going to say this without blinking. I'm going to say this without stuttering. Yes, 100% he can. 100% he will be. 100% you very lucky Toronto Raptor fans. My favorite player in the league is not a bum. My favorite player in the league has never been a bum. This is a very misunderstood prospect. He is a prospect who is trying to explore the limits of his game. And there are a lot of limits, but you need to explore the limits. To find the limits, you must explore the limits. To find what is possible, you must explore what seems undoubtedly at the moment impossible. That's a bar. That's a bar right there. The truth is that, as alluded to earlier, Scottie has 100 different pathways to scoring 20 points. I'm not interested in his layups. I'm not interested in his post-ups. I'm not interested in those little dives to the rim and the alley-oops. I'm not interested in turning this dude into Nick Claxton and Clint Capella. I'm not interested in him being Draymond Green. I'm not interested in his secondary creation abilities. I'm interested in his primary creation abilities. In order to develop a basketball player, fundamentally, you need to put them into uncomfortable situations and ask them to sink or swim. Last year, when the Raptors put Scottie Barnes into those situations where he was definitively the best player on the court with guys like Malachi Flynn and, Jalen McDaniels, Precious Achua, early on into the season, he deferred. He deferred. As the first moment in my life where I really had to second guess myself and say, is he really going to be what I want him to be? If he's deferring to Malachi Flynn, is he real? Is this real, or am I stupid? Am I second guessing myself? And then he comes out and he takes 15 threes against the Celtics, and I'm like, all right. Then he comes out and he has that huge game against San Antonio where he puts the team on his back in the second quarter, second half. He comes out and against Wemby, the whole world watching, first month of Wemby mania, and Scottie's the biggest star in the world on that night. And it's moments like that and it's glimpses of hope like that that really do show what is possible. And what is possible is so unimaginably beautiful. What's possible is all those intangible skills that made some people say that he's Draymond 2.0 are still intact. The secondary creation abilities are still there. The defense is still there. That rim protection is still there. The switchability is still there. The great basketball IQ and the court mapping, it's all still there. But you're adding something to it that Draymond couldn't dream of. In a 6'8", 6'9" package with a 7'4" wingspan, you were adding handle, wiggle. You're adding a mid post, pinch post turnaround jumper that's looking unstoppable. At a 23-year-old, you're adding pull up 3-pointers. You're adding catch and shoot 3-pointers. You're adding off the move stuff. The Scottie criticism bothers me for 1,000 reasons. It's dumb, it's lazy, it's all that stuff. But the most important thing is it's unfair. The reason it's unfair is because here's the thing. I don't think that it's fair to consistently move the post to prove your point. Okay. Now, if I believe that not Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic, if I believe Nikola Jokic cannot successfully protect the paint, and then he starts successfully protecting the paint, and all my criticism was about him not protecting the paint, then I don't just shift my ability and shift my opinion and be like, well, I know he's protecting the paint, but he's not guarding out, on the perimeter. But then he starts guarding on the perimeter. I'm like, yeah, but he's not picking up 94 feet. It's like you'll bend the truth, you'll bend facts, you'll bend reality, you'll bend the eye test, you'll bend the analytics to prove your point. It's very difficult to do what Scottie did for the first stint of this season prior to that ankle injury where he was 4.7 boxes minus. Go look around at the league. Look at all the lottery teams. How many 4+ boxes minus players do you see on those teams? There are none. Great players don't play on shit teams. The only two really are LaMelo Ball and Scottie Barnes. That's it. Who else are you seeing? None of these players are flashing positive analytics. And it's difficult, man. It's difficult. And the truth is, LaMelo is way more naturally oriented towards carrying a bad offense than Scottie is. Everything in Toronto right now is oriented towards making this player the best he can be. That comes down to roster construction. But make no mistake about it, since he was drafted to this team, everything has been on his timeline. And I think that bothers some people. I think that bothers some people that don't see the talent in him. I think it bothers people that don't really see the vision. And that's okay, whether you see the vision or not. People much smarter than you do. People much more experienced than you do. So you can either trust the process or you can bang your head until the process bashes you over the head. At any point, it doesn't matter what you say or I say. Scottie's going to be who he's going to be, and what he's going to be is great. What he's going to be is great. What he is great. The player you saw tonight, the game you saw tonight, the pull-up threes, the lockdown defense, the rim defense, the pressure on Ben Simmons, the creation, the playmaking, the transition stuff, everything you saw tonight. If I had told you, be honest with me, if I had told you that this quote-unquote zero-level scorer project guy in his rookie season, if I told you he'd have a single game like this wasn't even one of his top 15 games ever. This wasn't one of his top 25 games ever. Just hang on, man. Just be a little bit patient. Once this team gets this draft pick right, once they start stacking together a little bit of health, a little bit of continuity, once they get a couple of key trades that I think still need to be made, once they get a capable second rim protector on this team, Once some of these young guys grow into themselves a little bit, guys like Jacoby, guys like Gradey, who have really flashed a lot of incredible and immense potential so far this year, I think you are going to see a very fun team, a very connected team, and most importantly, a good selfless team. There's so many intangibles that make a player a superstar. Accountability, basketball IQ, work ethic, tone setting. You take on the personality of your best player, and this team is showing me that their best player is a good person, that their best player is a hard worker because they work hard. They are a hard-working team. They are a defensively oriented, engaged team. Yeah, they got blown out like to shit the last 4 games, but other than that, all season they have been in these games that they have no business being in. They are overachievers. Guess what? Scottie's an overachiever. They are hard workers. Scottie's a hard worker. They are team first. Oh, what do you know? Scottie's team first. Teams tend to take on the personality of their leaders. Teams tend to take on the personality of their best players. This team has taken on the personality of their best player. And it's a good personality to take on. 3 years ago, this team took on a very different personality. The personality of their best player at the time was focused on the bag. So everyone became focused on the bag. It was stats oriented. So everyone became stats oriented. It was one-on-one. It was isolation. My turn, your turn basketball. Well, suddenly everyone became my turn, your turn basketball. It was very, very negative. It was very individualistic. Well, suddenly everyone became negative and individualistic. I haven't seen 1 ounce of that under Scottie Barnes. So credit where credit is due. For most of the season, this has been a fun team to watch. Yeah, they have 8 wins. Yeah, they're probably at the bottom of a lot of power rankings. Today I watched Players' Choice. They put them at the 28th power ranking. I don't know where the Nets were, but hey, I guess this proves something. It'll be interesting to see how RJ Barrett fits into all of this. It will be. I think he can help. I think he can help a lot. I need him to dial in defensively. What needs to be spoken about more is the Scottie process. Yeah, it really does. Look, in the end, training this guy to be a dunks and catch and shoot threes merchant is not helping you. It's not going to move you. It's not going to change the equation for you 2-3 years down the line when you need him to become a superstar. It's not going to help you. These on-ball reps right now, the read and react situations, the times where he's going to cut into the middle and he's going to have his dribble poked away, the time where he thinks he has a little bit of a gap to create a move off the dribble, he takes a step back and it gets blocked. Those moves where, he's going to think that there's a pocket of space open and you're forcing him to make all of these decisions and be this kind of LeBron-esque guy. And he's not that guy. But forcing him to be that guy moves him closer to being that guy. I mean, shoot, one of the things that I think would be the ultimate cheat code for Scottie is more burst. If Scottie had the kind of burst that a Jonathan Kuminga or a Jalen Johnson had, he would already be probably an MVP candidate. That's the gap. That gap is a separation on the burst. He doesn't have that. Now, you can sit all day and say, well, he doesn't have that, so he can't be a superstar. It's like, well, Damian Lillard is 6'1". He can't be a superstar. Giannis Antetokounmpo can't shoot. Everyone has limits. Everyone has gaps. No one is sitting here saying Scottie is a perfect basketball player. No one is sitting here saying Scottie's he doesn't have weaknesses. He has tons of weaknesses. He has plenty of weaknesses. Okay? But that doesn't mean that those weaknesses cannot be adjusted for. It doesn't mean that they can't be counteracted with something else. Paul Pierce wasn't the burstiest athlete. DeMar DeRozan's not the burstiest athlete. Kawhi Leonard doesn't have a tremendous amount of burst either. Okay, there's a lot of players that don't play with a lot of burst. They play with pace. Okay, they play with position. Okay, they get to their spots. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is a great example. He's not the burstiest athlete. Okay, he's not. But he gets to a spot, and in the end, all that matters in the NBA is that you can get to your spot. That's it. It doesn't matter how you do it. Dirk Nowitzki was not a bursty athlete. Nikola Jokic, not bursty. Luka Doncic, not bursty. Okay? So they are getting by on skill, IQ, processing. They are seeing the court 2-3 seconds ahead of everybody else, and that is allowing them. It's a cheat code. What did Shai Gilgeous-Alexander say the other day? If you have feel, you can play. If you have feel for the game, you can play. Scottie was born with feel for the game. Okay, The truth is, Scottie Barnes does a lot of stuff on the basketball court that a lot of people don't know how to do. They don't appreciate it because it's not something they've ever tried to do. It's not something you can even teach. It's not something you can teach. If I run a basketball academy, the last thing I want to do is try to turn some random kid into Scottie Barnes. The first thing I would say to that kid is, too late. You're not going to be that guy. This is gifts. Scottie is a gifted basketball mind. He is a gifted basketball specimen. Just because he doesn't have the burst of a Jonathan Kuminga or the vert of a Vince Carter doesn't mean he can't be a superstar. He can absolutely be a superstar. I got news for you. Dylan Harper is not the burstiest athlete either, but y'all think he's going to be a star too, right? Not everybody needs to be a pogo stick. You know what? Jalen Green had a lot of burst. Gerald Green had a lot of burst. Neither one of those guys are superstars, right? You succeed in different ways. Scottie's path to success has been courted out or mapped out by this front office and by this coaching staff. They understand who he is as a basketball player. They fundamentally understand what his future is like. They understand that in order to get to point B, you need to go through certain points, right? You need to go from A to B to C to D. If you're trying to get him to F, right? Let's just say F is S tier Finals MVP superstar. Kawhi Leonard 2019, akin to that, but with better passing. Okay. If you want to get him to that, if you want to get him to F, you got to go through the process of A, B, C, through A, B, C, D, E. You got to go through all of that. And nobody said A to B is smooth. Nobody said B to C is fun. Nobody said taking 10 threes a night is fun, but you got to do it. What I'm sick and tired of hearing is people like Will Lou saying like, oh, well, you know, some people think it's crazy for us to expect Scottie Barnes to be as good as Jaylen Brown. Shut the fuck up. He's better than Jaylen Brown right now. Right now, he's better than Jaylen Brown. You cannot convince me otherwise. Just because your eye test says that Jaylen Brown is burstier or craftier, it doesn't mean anything. Go look at Jaylen Brown's handle. Go look at how quickly or unquickly Jaylen Brown passes the court. Go look at those wide open passing lanes. Go look at those great passes that he's playing with. Go look at the great defense he's playing with. Scottie's a better defender and a better offensive player than Jaylen Brown. He's a better passer than Jaylen Brown. What are you doing? He's a better rebounder than Jaylen Brown. He's better at everything about basketball than Jaylen Brown, except for self-generating offense, which is the only thing Jaylen Brown is actually good at. Like great at. Jaylen Brown's good at a lot of stuff. I'm not trying to shade Jaylen Brown, but like JB is great at one thing. And that's the one thing that Scottie's not great at. And guess what? That's the one thing that a lot of people think puts Siakam over Barnes or Cade over Barnes. That one thing is just one thing. It's a really important thing, but it's just one thing. There's 800 other things you're not focusing on to elevate that one thing over 800 other things. Scottie's unselfish. That matters. It matters. You're not going to build a championship roster without guys who care about the right stuff. I want to tell you that right now. You know, there was a lot made over the last week about Draymond Green's comments about Buddy Hield. And Buddy is the ultimate, you know, really nice guy. I know a lot of people who know Buddy Hield, and Buddy Hield is a, you know, phenomenal dude. And this is no shade to Buddy. There's a lot of players like Buddy Hield in the league that just really only fucking care about offense. All they care about is their buckets, their shots, and they're not the defense. They're not interested. Running back in transition, they're not interested. Communicating, you know, what's open on the weak side, they're not interested. You know, rotating out to shooters, making sure that they correctly map their rotations, cross matching, rebounding, boxing out. They're not interested in the stuff. But you know what? That's the stuff that actually wins you games. That's the stuff that wins you games. And yes, it is easier to find a guy who can box out on a rebound than it is to find a guy who can generate efficient offense for you out of thin air. Sure, it's easier. It's easier to find a guy who can be a secondary playmaker than it is to find a guy who can sauce up, you know, in the half court, like, you know, and score in bunches like RJ Barrett. Sure, you know, it's easier to find a guy who can guard three positions than it is to find a guy who can score, you know, on all three levels. Sure. But you know how hard it is to find a guy who can do all of that? All of those things? You know, every superstar you want to talk about, Steph Curry, big weaknesses defensively, big weaknesses in terms of size. I don't hear people talking about that. Michael Jordan was about as blemishless a basketball player as possible. His passing was criminally underrated, but he gambled a lot. He missed a lot. You know, he took a lot of really bad shots. LeBron has weaknesses. He had tons of weaknesses. If you look at the stars today, Trae Young, defensive cone, pylon, Zion Williamson, tons of weaknesses, right? Paolo Banchero, not a good defender, right? There's a lot of weaknesses. Why does this media space take the time only to point out Scottie's weaknesses? Why are the strengths only ever mentioned almost like an afterthought? Like, I know he's good at this stuff, but this is what I really want to focus my attention on. I'm happy to see Scottie take 10 threes a game. I'm happy to see it. Shit, actually, I'm not happy to see it. Let me take a page out of Darko's book. I want to see him take more. I want to see him take 15. Actually, just to see this fan base lose its mind, I want to see him take 23s in one game and make 3 of them. Sure, go 3 for 20. A lot of people have an issue with the process, but the truth is, learning how to take those shots is a skill. Making them is the next step. But learning where to take them, how to take them, so that you have that film to go back to and say, hey, Scottie, you know, this 3 you took here, this, I need you to shift a little bit more. I need you to shift your weight a little bit more. I need you to see this open play that you missed here. I need you to, you know, swing it one more time and then relocate to the corner. You're not going to have that tutelage. You can't have that opportunity to break down that film if the film never happens. Okay? So Sparkling saying Tatum is a better player than JB. Jason Tatum is a way better player than Jaylen Brown. Way better. Anyways, 1 hour, 30 minutes. Good win. Good win to start the new year. Not a great day for the tank, but I do believe the Washington Wizards won today over the Chicago Bulls. So that's at least, you know, one more loss tacked on to a team that you're probably never going to catch. But everyone is going to, you know, win games. You know, there's not a single team in the league right now that's going to lose like 50 straight. So, you know, take these wins as they come. This was the one win on your schedule that you could really pencil in and say, okay, that's possible to win that game. But if you look at the rest of the schedule, it's pretty much a bloodbath, right? We just got through, hang on one second. We just got through Brooklyn. Next up, Orlando, Friday, 2 days from now, Friday. That is at home. And then you have Milwaukee. I'll be honest with you. These 3 are winnable games. They are all technically winnable games. And you could easily go 2-1 in this stretch, or you can go 1-2. You could also go 3-0, at which point we have to have a different conversation about shutting guys down. However, Orlando is not unbeatable. However, they are a better team than Brooklyn, and Milwaukee might be a better team than Orlando right now. So stepping up each game, you're going to have a bigger challenge. I'll be very curious to see if RJ Barrett comes back, what the defense is going to look like with him, because it's looked pretty decent without him. Then you have at New York, at Cleveland, probably both losses. And then you have at Detroit, possibly a loss, possibly a win. Allegedly, Jaden Ivey went out with an injury tonight. We'll see how that impacts them. But okay. Then you got versus Golden State versus Boston, out Milwaukee versus Orlando, back-to-back at Atlanta. I mean, that feels like a 1-5 stretch. So Monday, January 27th, you have your first super bad game, and then back-to-back, you have bad team. End of January, you close out. You could probably close out with a lot of wins in January. And that's a problem for me because February is really tough. And then March is like the easiest schedule on earth. March, April is just all wins. Like you could run the table. So I need this team to be very mindful that there's a bigger picture. And, you know, the good thing is for the Raptors, they have many covert tank strategies, running multiple point guards, you know, running a lot of pick and roll with Davion Mitchell might be good for your offense right now. This high pressure defense, you know, consistently pressuring, and then having dead legs in the fourth quarter. Every close game becomes a loss. So yeah, overall, I mean, there's definitely that. There's also potential for more potential injuries. There's also the potential that you trade some of these guys. You maybe, you know, shut down some guys and just ask them to rest. You can load manage. I don't know. There's a lot of things. There's no rule in the CBA restricting you from load managing Jakob Poeltl, right? So overall, good win. Tough night for me overall last night, of course, with my dog passing, but I'd like to think that a win today felt better than a loss. Even though I perfectly would have been fine with a loss, just to be clear. But it felt good to talk a little bit of shit after the win. Yeah. Trae Young or Scottie? I take Scottie. So here's the thing. He had a cold shooting stretch. A lot of players have cold shooting stretches. His jump shot was really wonky. It wasn't going in. Credit to Jason Tatum. I think it's really sad that so many people criticize a dude who did everything he could to win all year. He won gold medal, and all people would talk about was the fact that he did not play, and he won a championship, his first championship, the 18th in Boston Celtics history, and all people could talk about was that he didn't win Finals MVP. We're really, really obsessed with the individuality of this sport. We really don't realize that in order to win, it takes sacrifice. Okay, and that's a fact. We the North with a super chat here saying, very sorry for your loss, Rob. Heartfelt condolences to you and your girlfriend. Thank you very much. I think we both took it very hard, but I think we took it about as well as we could have. So thank you so much to all of you. Thank you to all of you for being here with us tonight. Enjoy your night. Catch you on Friday. Might do a live tomorrow, but honestly, I think I said a lot of what I wanted to say about the Scottie stuff today. And you know what? If you want to slander him, you slander him. But you know what? If you want to defend him right now, be on the right side of history on this one. I fully encourage you the next time you see a podcaster trying to put this dude in Jaylen Brown and friggin' Jalen Johnson conversations, Jalen Green conversations, fuck them. Fuck all the Jalen's. Don't put him in any Jalen conversations. There ain't a Jalen in the league who's better than Scottie Barnes. So correct them. Peace, guys. Have a good one. And sorry for all the swearing. It's not the nicest thing to do on New Year's, but I had a lot on my chest. Peace.